so welcome back. So today I'm just going to do a couple of little odd jobs, and I thought I'd bring you along for the journey because I've just downloaded some new photo editing software for free on my computer. So I want some videos to sort of have a play with and sort of try out the settings, and I thought it'd be a perfect one to do it, you know, get a couple of little odd jobs done, do something a little bit productive. I am still at work at the moment because I am still classed as a essential worker, even with all this corona stuff going on, so I don't get a lot of time in the evenings to really do anything at the moment because obviously I am still working, so it's just sort of squeezing stuff in as and where I can and see where we go. But first of all, I need to hoover up my workspace because I did a little bit of routing the other day and I've left somewhat of an almighty mess. So I'm hoping what's going to happen is you're going to see this all happening fast forward, and I'm going to hoover up and we'll go from there. I've done it again with the bloody remote. Okay, so now that the shed is nice and tidy, my first job is to fix the radio antenna for my stereo outside. Now, I've got some ideas for that. I have this little mount which I've had kicking around for a little while, so I was thinking that's not quite tall enough, so what I've done is I've got an old tent pole here and I've cable tied it in 4 places, and that's nice, and that ain't twisting. It's nice and strong in there, so we get that nice and high, get a good signal. I've also, part of the reason I want to put it up is if I'm working in here and I get too close to the antenna, which is just kind of stuck to some bits hanging in the ceiling, the radio gets really crackly, so I want to get it sort of out of the way. Now, I've got the antenna here. Bear in mind, my stereo is all the way up there on the roof almost. It's on a shelf quite close to the apex, so the fact that I can drag it all the way down here, it's got to be, I don't know, I'd say at least 4 feet long. It's a nice size antenna and it's got quite a thick core. I don't know if you can see that, whether it will focus or not. I don't think it will, but it's got quite a nice thick base. So what I'm thinking is to run it outside. I've got some old speaker cable here. I'm going to get one of these speaker cables and put a detachable crimp in the middle, so that if I want to move the radio or anything like that in the future, I can just disconnect it or even extend it to run it up there. But I don't want to have to say take it off, because I did take it off a little while back to put some foam in the joints. So I want to make sure that I can still disconnect it and have full mobility of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the wire, get a nice bit to connect up, and I'll tie that to that and feed it through. This is some old electrical tape. I think it's got to be at least 5 years since I opened this, because I bought this for my old Mark II Fiesta, and that's been off the road for 5 years. Let me get into the silly stuff. Okay. That around there. join them together. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll get my box of crimps. Okay, now I like to use these sorts of crimps. I can solder. I just don't particularly want to. These are a lot easier and faster. Because my solder iron takes a little while to get hot, it's a pain in the backside, so I'm just going to use one of these, I think. And I've got two types of crimpers. I've got these, which are your normal ones. You see a lot of these, your standard ones, and I've got these ratcheting ones. And these, they're good. Like, don't get me wrong, I like them, but they're only good if you're working on a decent gauge of wire. If you're working on something really fine, like I am with here, it doesn't crimp tight enough. Now I want to see if I can get some different jaws for it, because these are insulated jaws. So what I need to try and do is see if I can find the non-insulated ones, because the non-insulated ones, they push in a lot harder and it clamps the thinner wire. So that's one thing I need to look into. I haven't found any yet. I have been looking, but a lot of the time you can't get just the jaws on their own. You need to buy them with an actual ratcheting crimper, which I don't really want to have to spend 20 quid on buying another ratchet with the the teeth in it, because I might as well have just not bought that one at all. So that's one I'm keeping an eye out for on Amazon. If anybody knows any, then that would be great if you could let me know. The other thing I like using a lot is these automatic strippers. Now they're really easy to use. You just put it in there, squeeze, and that's done. Absolutely easy peasy. And if it's struggling to get the insulation off, or if when you're doing it, it's cutting through too many wires, there is a little dial on the front here that you can turn in and out, which sets the tension on it, so it will clamp more or less on the blade side to cut into the insulation more, which is a nice feature. Right, where is it? So that's that all joined together. Now what I need to do is I need to tape up the end so that we don't get any water ingress. We don't want the pipe water to get in the end and then it start going all horrid and manky. So we'll do that. Okay. Right. So we've got our extension piece ready. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap some black tape around this. One, just to strengthen it up a little bit in case it does get pulled. It won't, because I'm cable tying it up, but it's always better to over-engineer and not have any problems than not do something that takes literally 30 seconds and then have to go and redo it later on down the line for some unknown reason. I don't know, maybe a cat gets hold of it or a bird starts picking at it, I don't know. And then you don't see the red connector either on the black cable, so that looks a little bit better on that side of things as well. Okay, so we've got that nice and taped up. We'll just put a little bit more on this end. Next up, this is a little set that my brother got me for Christmas, just gone, which is good of him. He always knows what to get me, just anything tools wise, and I'm happy as Larry. Just got to select the right size, and I think we get away with that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the side of the shed just below the apex. I'm going to feed the wire through, and then once I've done, I'm going to seal it up with some silicone so we don't get any leaks or anything, because I've had leaks in here in the past and stuff just starts to go mould, which is not great, to be honest. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, and then on this end, what should we do? We'll go. Let's go. A little more on there. That will fit. One of these connectors. Okay, so now this is where I plug it into each other and find that it's just nothing but static. Well, that works alright. Okay, so next step, outside and get it on the side. Okay, so I've got the cable wrapped all around the pole, and it's actually got quite dark now. I got called in for dinner and I was kind of late coming back in, so that's the problem. But I think I've got just enough time to sort of get on the roof and just sort of throw it up there. Just put 4 screws in, which should be alright. So I don't know if you can see, but the shed is right behind me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try switching to night vision, because I've got an infrared camera. We'll see if that makes any difference. Let's see if I can switch to. Okay, I think what I have to do is I have to start the next film. Hang on. Okay, we have night vision. So, the shed just behind me. Yeah, I've got some old number plates from some old cars stuck on there. So just ignore those. Oh, I'm going to grab the fuel quickly and mix that up. can't see it, but the antenna's up there. I'll show you in the morning. Okay, so I've installed it on the roof. I've got the cable run through and I've masticed it. I would have taped the mastic, however, I had a teeny tiny weeny problem. Whereas I went to use my mastic gun, put it all in. I've got some, it's like bathroom sealant, silicone stuff, and I put it in and I couldn't, like, it wouldn't move. I tried squeezing it, it got really tight and it started to like bend the handle, and I was like, I guess the plastic end has just got stuck. So I got this metal rod in my big thick metal pipe in my vise, and I pushed down on it and like tried to force the cup up in to push the silicone through, and that wasn't working either. So I thought, okay, it's obviously like filled up. I'll just cut it open, get some silicone out and push it in with my finger, because I put a screw in the end and I could feel it was still like wet at the top. What I did however find is after I opened it up, I found this big old billet of solid sealant stuck to the bottom of my tube. So yeah, that was never coming out, not in a million years. But it is still like squishy at the top, I don't know if you can see. But I've sealed up the hole, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else that needs sealing up before I throw this away. Because there is still some stuff there, it just, you can't put it in the gun anymore. But that concludes it. I've got the radio on, it's working nicely. I've got it all sealed up nicely. I'll show you that. All sealed up. Oh, sorry, my tripod's a bit broken. So, that concludes today's episode, and we will see how the editing comes out, because I'm still not sure how that's going to work because of the new software. But we shall see. Thanks for watching.